Well, the first time I tried recording this, it broke, so let's continue, shall we? Context. Alright, wonderful. The loud clatter of books falling into the return slot abruptly breaks the grip of silence over the school library. It's become a habit of me to continue to come to the library at least once a week. Not only does the reading itself keep me busy, but discussing books with Hanako and Lilly also does. Obviously startled, Yuko suddenly twists towards the direction of the noise. I'd have thought her used to people dropping books by now, since she does work here. Oh, hello, Zao back again? It takes me a moment to respond, my mind still distracted by the familiar melody of Lily's humming that's hardly left my ears in the several days it's been since I fell asleep to it. Oh yeah, just returning some books I borrowed. She casts her eyes downwards, presumably to the bin the books dropped into. You're a very heavy reader, aren't you? It's become a bit of a routine now, past the time at least. I wish I had free time to pass. From small talk to depression in less than 5 seconds. I think that's a new record for her. She seems a bit down in general today, even compared to normal. Considering she has to work 2 jobs just to support herself, I can see how that would take a toll on her lifestyle. Come to think of it, the pay for a job here can't be all that bad. The idea of staff in such a prestigious private school going hungry strikes me as counterintuitive. Working 2 jobs might take a lot of time. I'd probably never manage it. You're lucky being a student. Do you think you'll be able to go to university? If she's asking, then I guess that's the expected result of having this kind of education. Private schools like this don't exactly come cheap. Well, I guess I have the money, I think. I've got plans which will require going to one, but my grades are good enough. It's more of a matter of how I'll pay to do so. University costs so much that I'm having to work 2 jobs to afford to enter it. Paying for daily expenses too makes it a lot harder. Hey, you could sell your soul to the to the student loan funds manager, whatever the. You see, I never went to college, so I don't have this issue. But you know, if you're reading this much though, it means you're doing well in school, right? Interesting logical jump. Not an altogether wrong one though. I suppose so. I didn't find any of the exams very hard, aside from maybe 1 or 2. Do you mind if I ask what studies you're pursuing in university? Yuko appears to be genuinely brightened at the question. Anthropology, to be specific. I'm specializing in the history of classical-era Athenian civilization and democracy. I'm sorry, Yuko, but, yeah. I'm sorry, Yuko, but, you are never going to, find a job in that field. Unless you're, going to teach that field specifically, in which it becomes a loop of... Anyways, she really seems to know her stuff. Such enthusiasm is to be admired, and it's nice to see her genuinely excited about something. I guess even somebody like Yuko can be happy if she has a visible road ahead of her. God damn it. It's good to hear if you... Both of us jump at the sudden interruption coming from my pocket. Apologizing profusely and quickly shuffling into the hallway, as I fumble with the cover of my mobile phone, I glance at the screen. Weird. It's a mobile number I don't recognize. Considering I can count the number of people with my number on one hand, I briefly wonder whether it's some telemarketer that lucked out. Hello, Hazao Nakai speaking? Geez, pick up faster next time. Anyway, guess who? It only takes me a second to recognize a distinctly deep, brusque voice. Hey, Misha. Didn't expect you to call me. Huh? You actually think I sound like her? Not at all, Akira. I don't remember giving you my number, though, so I thought I'd mess with you. Oh, that. I got Lilly to give it to me. Not hard. She positively brims with pride at this statement, trying to get me caught up in her place, I know it. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that the two would share my number, though, given how close they are. So, what's up? You free right now? I guess. Why? Could you meet me at the park in town? I just want to talk to you about some stuff. Is that an invitation to a date? What? Of course not. She sounds so suddenly crestfallen. Her previous teasing nature having instantaneously left, it seemed strange for her. Anyway, I don't see why not. When do you want to meet? Kind of now-ish. Wait, right now? But it's... The dead silence suddenly coming from the phone announces the fact that she has unceremoniously hung up. For a long time, I just stand there, staring at the call-ended message on the screen, while replaying the conversation in my head. What the hell, Akira? Throwing a glance up and down the street, I cross the road and step into the park. I've learned to pace myself on such walks, mostly because Lilly's slower speed during our forays into town means I have to consciously slow myself down. That aside, I hope Akira didn't expect me to immediately prompt. It takes only a couple of seconds to spot her, waiting on a bench with a can of beer in her hand. The look she gives me as I walk up lacks any hint of acknowledgement or greeting. What's with that look? I needn't have come, you know. I knew you would. You're that kind of person after all. I lower my brow at her remark as she disposes of the can, emptied by the time I arrived, and the metallic clatter rings out. Akira takes a seat on the old wooden bench and I follow her lead. She takes another can of beer from beside her and opens it before speaking, taking a large gulp. She seems to really like that kind of stuff. I suppose I don't need to ask what this is about, or rather, who it's about. I heard from Lilly that you asked about our family. They share more than phone numbers, that's for sure. I'd probably be very worried right now if it weren't for the total lack of malice in her voice. Rather, her tone sounds almost wistful. Idle curiosity, mostly. I have to admit, I'd never guessed you two were half Scottish. She gives a wry chuckle of amusement. I've heard that before, trust me. The small smile falls from her face, her eyes looking ahead distantly. Aside from the occasional elderly couple talking as they slowly walk the meandering paths and the odd aging car, it's pleasantly quiet. She didn't tell you everything though, did she? It was pretty brief. Your parents live in Scotland. She hasn't met them since she was 12, and she wants to meet them again. It's always surprised me how devoted she is to our parents, for all the good they did us. The way she says it almost sounds derisive. She gives a small sigh as if to quickly brush the feelings away. Why do you think they left, Azao? Why do I think they left? From what Lilly told me, it was because of work. I guess a pretty decently paying job was involved as well, given the way your parents seem to live. So Lilly went to a private school, and that's why she carries herself with the airs and graces of the upper class. Yeah, since the business in Inverness boomed, our father decided to move directly to the same city as its headquarters. That's just the conclusion. I thought you'd come too, though. You're too good-natured. You don't think they left for their career? I'm sitting here bitching to you about it. What do you think? Yamaku Academy. I've always felt that place is kinda creepy. Like it was an isolated hideaway for those proper society doesn't want to see nor hear. They probably just rue the fact that Lilly wasn't old enough to be shoved there by the time they left. A long silence follows her abrupt and very harsh criticism of her own parents, and Yamaku. Lilly's blindness is hardly something that could be simply ignored for a high-class family attempting to keep up appearances, much less so when a lucrative offer is on the table. Eventually, Akira gives a derisive snort, her feelings coming to a head. Moving to secure our financial future with his new job opening. Even at the time, I hardly believed it. Not wanting to simply be an avenue for her venting, I gently tried to steer the discussion. So you stayed in Japan with Lilly then? Either I stayed with her or she went off to live with an ailing grandmother and grandfather. What about Shizune's family? If you're cousins, then... Our fathers hate each other. I'd have been more than happy to tell them to go screw themselves and live with them anyway, but Lilly wouldn't have wanted that. I'd also have an offer for a job by then, so we did our best to keep our parents' house in proper shape, and tried to continue our lives as if they'd never left. So you just lived by yourselves? Basically, Lily had school and I had my job, so we weren't exactly languishing. With her schooling, her study, and having to do chores while I worked, though, I can't help feeling like I failed her. In the end, I tried to be there for her and screwed it up. Expecting a 19-year-old to be a mother for a blind child, it's ridiculous. So Lily and Akira lived alone after their parents moved, with Lily largely taking care of herself. I guess that explains her apparent independence compared to many in Yamaku. I may have lived alone much of the time since my parents both worked, but it's just something else entirely. Sorry for making you listen to my moaning, Izao. I don't mind at all. But do you mind if I ask why you're telling me all this? You always were curious. Context, I suppose. Life isn't a fairy tale, Izao. Some people have to learn that the hard way. She takes a long drink from the can in her hand, her face becoming more depressed and distant. I broke up with my boyfriend a few days ago. After I leave, we're not going to be able to see each other again. But that's how life is. You can't just set your life up and expect it to stay that way forever. Sometimes stuff happens that you have to roll with, even if it means hurting yourself or others. She takes a long breath before looking up at the bright orange sky. Damn. If I smoked, I could take a nice long drag about now and look kinda cool. I want to respond, to help her in whatever way I can, but I feel utterly useless. This kind of situation is one I've never been in, and I simply don't have the experience to say anything meaningful to comfort her. Akira looks over, and evidently picks up on this, much to my embarrassment. I must look pretty pathetic right now, whining about this to someone I barely know. Hardly. I'm pretty much an expert on looking pathetic. She gives a chuckle, the act feeling like a personal victory for me. You're a good kid, Izao. When I said that I approved of you being with my sister, I wasn't joking or just being nice. She picks herself up off the seat with a grunt, one that seems ill-fitting given her age, and throws a now empty can into the bin after one last swig. It's just unfortunate that doesn't really count for much in this world. When I said I was leaving for Scotland, I was doing it because a good position opened up in our company's headquarters. When our folks told me that when we were at their place, though, they also gave Lily a summon to rejoin them in Inverness. No way. Her evasiveness when asked about our future, that awkwardness that had steadily grown between us, that uncharacteristic outburst of anger, all of them suddenly fit into place. The same family that she reminisced about after Hanako's birthday party, the same family that left her and Akira to themselves after taking flight to greener pastures. Now I feel stupid for ever cornering Lily on what was bugging her. I never even considered if something had happened during her trip to her family's home at Inverness. And now, a sense of unease grows in my chest. If her family summoned her to join them in Scotland, all the way on the other side of the earth, has she accepted? Lily hasn't told me whether she plans to accept, and it seems she hasn't told you either. That's why I called you down here to talk, Izao. Context, huh? I sit back, my feelings of worry and frustration no doubt written all over my face. Lily's a strong person, Izao, but she's not infallible. I guess it's my job to worry about her being her older sister, but I think that you deserve to know. I understand. You okay? You sound depressed. No, I'm just thinking. That's good. Thinking is good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. She looks at her watch, barely moving her wrist. I've got to go. Will you be okay? I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'll have to talk to Lily about it and get everything sorted out. She gives a smile, but it doesn't feel all that genuine or sincere. Really, both of us are dancing around the fact that Lily's on the precipice of the biggest decision of her life and is trying to take the entire burden on herself. And part of that burden is the matter of our relationship. By the time I look up, Akira is already walking off with her hand held up. For the first time in a long time, I finally have an answer to something. Perhaps not even that, but at least I know I now have the right question to ask. Will you leave or stay? We are approaching an ending. It seems. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Hurry, Lily. I'm moving as fast as I can. I can barely make out Lily's voice over the deafening pounding of the rain. Even though I dislike pulling her around, the situation calls for it. I turn forward, my free hand over my head in a futile attempt to keep at least my hair dry. My vision seems to be in grayscale. This really is rotten weather for summer, and the last kind of climate I'd want for a date. A pity. I'd even checked the weather forecast beforehand, one of the very few times I've ever done so, only for it to say that Saturday afternoon would be fine. Looking to Lily, her shoulders are by now completely drenched, with her right hand holding tightly to mine, and her left gripping her retracted cane. This horrid downpour came on just as we were between our destination and Yamaku, so we decided to try rushing the rest of the distance rather than doubling back. Entirely unused to running this fast, Lily's using all her concentration to just avoid tripping over. Hazao, do you know where we're going? Even she's reduced to shouting to try to be heard over the combined noise of the wind and the rain. The rest of my voice is completely drowned out by an even heavier burst of rain. The what? The Shanghai. How far is it? It shouldn't be far now. It doesn't take long before I call out to her once again. Looks like we're safe. It's just ahead. I quickly pull up to a shop just in front of the familiar exterior, the lantern outside still giving off its reliable glow, and wait for Lily to catch her breath before going in. Ladies first. The tiny bell inside rings out when I hold the door open for her, a smile and a polite nod being my reward before entering myself. Oh, there's rain in the background. Okay. As I step in behind her and wipe my feet, only a quick glance is necessary to notice the distinct lack of activity. The Shanghai doesn't seem to get much in the way of patronage, and today is no different. Only a couple of tables are occupied. Summoned by the bell's ringing, a most expected person comes to greet us. Welcome to the Shanghai! Yuko looks chipper today. Trying to predict her moods is pretty hard, but it's a nice change from the norm. Hello, Yuko. Hey. Good afternoon, you two. She takes a deep bow, somewhat taken aback as she rights herself again and gets a better look at us. What happened to you? You both look... Her eyes drift towards the glass of the door behind us. Oh dear. We're inside now, at least. I think that's the important thing. It's nice and cozy. You were lucky to be working inside today. It's been nice and quiet. I like days like this. Oh wait, sorry. Is there anything you'd like? French vanilla tea, please. I'll have the same. Right, coming right up. She quickly skitters off with a determined look on her face, trying very hard not to forget our orders. If nothing else, she is at least dedicated to her jobs. I lead Lily to an empty seat before the two of us settle down. As usual, there's a large difference between my exhausted flopping down into my seat and Lily's delicate sliding into hers, her cane set beside her. For a while, I just idly watch the rain falling outside. The occasional person runs down the street trying to stay as dry as possible, hands often tightly gripping a rain-soaked umbrella. Lily sits just as quietly as I, her eyes closed as she intently listens to all that's happening. It's a comfortable, relaxing silence that exists between us, just the type that we so often shared together in the past months. For Lily, at least. I can't help replaying the words of her sister in my mind, at times contrasting them, both our time spent together since I entered Yamaku, and to the way we've been since we started dating. No matter how much I try, I can't work Lily out. It's as if the harder I try to second-guess her emotions and her potential decision, the more difficult it becomes to reach a clear conclusion. It makes me doubt whether I'd ever really understood her. In the end, I'm going to have to ask, even though I very much want to avoid doing so. You seem quiet today, Hazao. Really? You seemed so enthusiastic about taking me out on a date. I'd assumed you had something specific you wanted to do. No, not really. I just wanted to spend some time with you. Is that so? Fine. There was one thing. A little grin finds its way onto Lily's face, her knowing full well that she's bested me. It makes what I want to say all the more awkward. It was just Akira and I were talking. Oh? What's with that tone? You two seem to get on well, don't you? Well, I do think she's a pretty cool person to talk with. It'd be nice if any of the teachers were anything like her. Cool. For a moment, I tried to place her tone of voice, my mouth curling into a smirk as I realized it. You're not jealous, are you? I'm not jealous. After her teasing me over such a thing on our first date, I don't feel too bad having a little laugh at her expense this time around. As we settle down, though, it's only a minor distraction from the real point of why I brought Lily here. Don't worry, it was mostly just everyday stuff. That said, there was something Akira mentioned that I wanted to talk to you about. When you went to see your family in Inverness a while back, she said, Akira told you about my family's summons, hasn't she? Seconds tick by while I try to read Lily's face. An odd mixture of feelings written on it. She seems annoyed, but also somewhat confused. Here. Yuko tentatively slides our drinks onto the table, her presence oddly small. As she walks by to the counter after a quick polite nod, I realize the air between me and Lily is thick, and our expressions are both somewhat pensive. Even though she says I should lead my own life, she still interferes at the worst times. I don't think you should blame Akira here. She's just looking out for you. It's not like I can't understand her concern over this. Lily's irritation gives way to an awkward and largely unsuccessful attempt to mask her feelings. She really doesn't deal well with being cornered on personal topics. Yeah. I know, but I just wanted some more time. I knew you'd figured it out eventually, but... You were intentionally hiding this from me? For how long were you planning to do so? As I said, I simply wanted more time to think it through. I wanted to be sure of my decision before telling you. What did you decide to do in the end? I know what I want her to say, but an awful feeling refuses to leave my gut. My family does dearly want me to return to them, and Akira will be going as well. I could still teach as a career, whether it be here or there. So you're going? How long have you known? I already know you were asked when you first went to Scotland about a month ago. Some time. My frustration very nearly boils over. The fact that she's done this affects me more than it should. For her to not only be leaving, but to have been actively hiding her own plans from me, and after seeming for so long to be the one solid pillar of support and reliability I could depend on. It feels as if the foundation underneath me is suddenly shifting drastically, much faster than I can adapt to. Perhaps it isn't so much frustration as sheer unease. Lily. I'm sorry. I wanted to think this through completely. I wasn't trying to take advantage of you, please. I know, Lily. I know. This is just very sudden. Really sudden. I guess this means once you go, we'll be breaking up? For one of the few times I've seen since I've met her, she's genuinely lost for words. She doesn't look surprised, no doubt, because the fact had dawned on her once she became sure of her decision, but rather she appears genuinely unsure of how to deal with the situation now that it's in front of her. We could try pursuing a long-distance relationship. They're getting more and more common these days, after all. Yeah, those won't work. Even as she says it, the tone of her voice gives away that she doesn't truly believe what she's saying. Yeah, because it doesn't work. Anyway, Lily is far too old-fashioned to be able to cope with a relationship without any kind of physical presence. And even I am to an extent. All we would ever be to each other would be a voice on the other side of the world. In the end, trying to rationalize everything is futile. Any attempts to try and connect what's happening with the future or past just seem to get more difficult the more I concentrate. Those quiet moments when we just walked side by side, the precious time we spent with Hanako and Akira, the casual chatter we had during lunchtimes, the time we made love, the confessions of our feelings to each other. All pointless. All just a fleeting moment in our young lives. We're just two children pretending to be adults, aren't we? A long, long silence hangs in the air between us. The noise of the other patrons drinking and talking only makes the situation feel more strange and disconnected. Lily's face remains low, her dejected expression clouding it. I'm sorry, Hazal. A simple apology and no more. She's left entirely without any further response or comment. With a long sigh, I gather what's left of my thoughts and ask the final question I have for her. When will you be going? I'll be leaving with Akira, so it'll be a little less than a week. The beginning of the summer holidays? Just a little afterward, yes. Her tone, unusually slow and steady, her apologetic and depressed mood all the more written to her face as she tries to hide it in her voice. In the end, I can't even keep my promise of going to Tanabata with her before she leaves. I look down, seeing my face reflected in the by now lukewarm cup of neglected tea sitting in front of me. I really thought I'd left this kind of expression behind. For a while, I just stared down into the still surface, trying to sort through my emotions to get what course of action I should take, whether it be right now or in the future. But just as before, the effort is wasted. I glance up to see Lily gently sipping her cool tea without complaint, her face drawn and shoulders slumped. She looks to be in deep thought too. A strangely cold atmosphere coming between us as we isolate ourselves to mull things over. Even as Lily's cup slowly empties, mine remains untouched. It's a long time before I notice the rain dying down outside and the few other patrons of the Shanghai having left. Hold on, I'm going to check something to see if I am... No, not that, but... Okay, where should I break off this episode? Okay. Alright, so I think we're fairly close, so I'll keep playing until we reach an ending. The chill of the rapidly darkening evening permeates the dormitory hallways. While trudging down the corridor to my room, I see an unwelcome movement from up ahead. Sure enough, the opening of the door opposite mine heralds the arrival of a bespectacled Kenji. Hey man, what's... Whoa dude, you look awful. I think, you okay? He really has a knack for making any situation better. I don't really want to go into it, it's late. Okay, that's cool. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm, here. I look at him for a moment, before surrendering my stern front and awkwardly scratching the back of my neck, embarrassed by my standoffish response to him. Yeah, some things hurt, sometimes you don't want to talk for a while, and... Yeah, sometimes it just takes a while. Especially for, unfortunate news... Like, I would imagine a breakup would be pretty rough, even if I've never experienced a relationship to break up from before. I would imagine it would be pretty rough. So, hey, it's cool. That's what friends are for, right? Yeah, you're right. See ya. I open the door to my own dorm room and close it behind me as he quickly waves me off. The solid thud of the door, the solid thud the door makes against the door frames sounds out of a final call for the life I've led since coming to Yamaku. I just stand in my darkened room, rootlessly attempting to work out what I should do from this point onwards. What should I do? Okay. As class ends, I simply rest my head on my hand and stare out of the window to pass the time. It's been a few days since Lily told me her plans. I haven't been to our ordinary lunchtime haunt since then, not that there would be much of a point. Hanako has been busy with the newspaper club she's newly joined, and has begun talking in class with Naomi every now and then. Even Lily, aside from the fact that a meeting between us would have been awkward in any case, has been run off her feet with class representative duties as the summer holidays approach. And now they're just about here. With the end of today's bell, the summer holidays will have begun. I suppose that all I'll ended up doing will be visiting my parents for the duration and lazing about my old home now that my previous plans are entirely askew. Meanwhile, Akira and Lilly will be en route to Scotland to live out the rest of their lives there. No matter how hard I try to rationalize the idea that once the summer holidays begin, my life will return the way it was, it simply refuses to happen. Everyone's moving on with their lives. Lily's rejoining her family, Akira's moving up in her father's business, Hanako's gaining new friends and hobbies, and even Yuko's moving ahead with her university aspirations. Even I'm moving forward in the end. With the grades I've gotten so far in Yamaku, much less after at such a rocky beginning, the path to get into teaching science as a career seems straightforward. Yeah. I suppose I should be at least happy about that much, but it doesn't really seem to help. Okay, Hazao, even if you can't, reforge a relationship or whatever, at least say goodbye. At least wish her a good life. Come on, don't isolate yourself. Come on, you need to talk. Come on, buddy. Hee-chan. I quickly stopped my ruminating and turned to face the bubbly voice beside me, putting on the most upbeat expression I can muster. As expected, Shizune stands flanking her. I have a sneaking suspicion they want something from me. Hey Misha, Shizune, what's up? Well, Chi-chan and I were thinking. Since we're just two poor little girls that need help with all the work we've been given just as the holidays begin, sure I can help. But Hee-chan, we already need... What? I think I broke Misha. Even Shizune raises an eyebrow at her accomplice's shuddering stop in her tracks. You'll help us, Hee-chan? I just said I would, didn't I? It's hardly like I have anything better to do. Maybe helping them with their work will help take my mind off the situation. Misha seems genuinely ecstatic with my response, but Shizune's expression is clouded and difficult to read. I find myself quickly averting my eyes from her own, as it almost looks like a face of pity. No doubt it must be my imagination. This is hardly the first time I've been in the student council room. Indeed, I found myself down here often, either to help Lilly with class rep work, or to sort out one thing or another with the student council itself. Now, though, it's quite a different place. Papers and folders are strewn across every table in the room, only a solitary little black laptop atop a single desk sticking out from the mess. It looks positively ancient, and I guess it's been valiantly serving its task in archiving information for years and years. So what needs doing? This looks like a lot to do. Shizune's expression becomes determined as she signs. It's a worrying look. Everything, Hee-chan. My worry was well placed. Everything, you say. What's left on the desk is what needs to be done. It all needs to be digitally recorded, which is what the laptop is for. And I'm guessing that I'll be the one doing this? Chi-chan says she saw you with computers in the library a few days ago, and that you seemed really good with them. Good with computers. I can touch type, I guess, but it still seems like an overestimation of my skills. I was just typing up my homework. Wait, Shizune was watching me do that? One must know their allies before they can know their enemies, of course. Wow, that was pretty wise. For once, it's not very hard to work out who said what. Nonetheless, it doesn't seem worth fighting over. Sitting at a computer doing some typing hardly seems onerous, as far as tasks to help Shizune and Misha go. Wait a sec. Okay, in routes that, go past the summer, which is probably only Shizune's route, do we not see Lilly at all? I mean, of course Lilly goes to Scotland the first time, but, in every route, does Lilly go back to her family? because I don't remember Lilly appearing that often, like after, like at all, like at when each of the routes go like even after summer. Huh. I'm guessing that's what happened in each route. Okay. Nonetheless, it doesn't seem worth fighting over. Sitting at a computer doing some typing hardly seems onerous, as far as tasks to help Shizune and Misha go. Besides, it'll help take your mind off things. Take my mind off things? Take my mind off what things? Misha's face goes blank as she translates this for Shizune, though the latter's response is only to glance away towards the window after briefly signing. Misha's face quickly returns to a smile as she translates back. She was confused, I guess, but Misha is harder to pin down. I was thinking you may want to like to get your mind off of the exams, of course. Either way, we may as well get to it sooner rather than later. I'll be going along with you. That's the spirit, Hee-chan. And that's the 5th spreadsheet compiled and saved. Time for the next month's. After a bit of fussing around, we all managed to get a bit more organized. Shizune has been gathering up the loose sheets and thankfully sorting them into a neat pile next to me. Meanwhile, Misha's been handling the manual writing work, her girly pink pen leaving its unmistakable mark on paper after paper. You know, I'm just waiting for Rizal to realize just how badly he's messing up right now. Like, even if your like girlfriend or your significant other is leaving and you may never see them again, that is the best time to say goodbye. That is the best time to get some closure in a relationship. What are you doing? Like, even if it's just a friend, right? Even if it's someone you like barely know, and you know for a fact you're never going to see them again, one thing you should do is that you should try to say goodbye. You should try to have some closure to whatever relationship you have. I don't know, maybe I'm being too emotional, maybe, but really, Rizal, what are you doing? Like, this is how I barely remember the ending, because this is such a dog shit ending already. And anyways, Shizune's been gathering up the loose sheets and thankfully sorting them into a neat pile next to me. Meanwhile, Misha's been handling the manual writing work. Yeah, I already read this. Once I got myself into a rhythm, this really wasn't so bad. Shizune and Misha also seem to be in the swing of things, wordlessly communicating as they go about their business with fervor. I periodically glance at the sheet beside the laptop, apparently a list of student names and matching addresses, as I dutifully enter the data written on it. I don't pay a lot of attention to what I'm typing in until I reach about midway down the page. Hakamichi, class 3-3. Huh? Her family's home is in Saitama? My idle curiosity has ended abruptly, as 3 light taps can be heard rapping on the door. Misha quickly skips over to check who it is, tapping Shizune's shoulder on the way past to let her companion know what's happening. Ah, you're here! Who is it? With a slight pause to enter Shizune's data into the file along with all the others, I look up to check who's at the door. Lilly. After giving a cursory nod to Misha in greeting, she perks her head up in her trademark manner. Is that Rizal? She's pretty darned good at working out my voice from the smallest of phrases nowadays. Yeah, it's me. Hey. The atmosphere feels slightly awkward as she bows. Neither of us knows quite how intimate we should be around each other, given she's leaving in just a matter of hours. This is a fact that, thankfully, neither the oblivious Misha nor the hard-working Shizune pick up on. So, you got work to do as well? Unfortunately, I arrived as soon as I could, but my class held me up with a surprise farewell party, and I had to get changed. I glanced down at the laptop's clock. It's pretty much the end of lunchtime, so I'm guessing Lilly managed to wrangle the last period off as well. I take it Shizune is here as well? Of course. And I've been here during all of lunchtime as well. That last comment comment was really not needed. Shizune is baiting Lilly into another argument. I can feel it. I'm sorry I can't be as hardworking as you, Shizune. I'll endeavor to hire more lackeys to do my work in the future, I assure you. And Lilly just took the bait, escalating things further. But aren't you the one always outsourcing work to your classmates? The difference is that they choose to help, unlike your tyrannical grip on your own class. Tyranny works. Even if we did things differently, we still got the same results, right? This is a school, not a police state. You will have to remind me when you were appointed class monarch, I'm afraid. You have to seize power. It's not as good as if it's handed to you, but I guess you wouldn't really understand that, right? You'll also have to remind me when monarchs were elected into their positions. Lilly positively bristles at this. Shizune's two-hit combo forces her onto defense. Yet for all your vaunted power, you cannot get one person to help you without forcing him. But Hisao volunteered. He's such a hard worker, he's doing this instead of meaningless socialization. Look, socialization is... Take it from someone that was in student council. It was only for like one semester, but as taken from someone who was in student council, socialization is a much better use of your time than meaningless work. Trust me. Like, being a socialized person, being well socialized, will bring you further in life than a lot of meaningless work. There's networking, there's making friends, there's getting into relationships. You see, I didn't realize this until I was already out of school, because school is the best time to generally, start on working on those things, because I am incredibly autistic. But here's the thing. If work, like, especially if you're young, if you're like a kid, if work, of all things, take away your ability to make friends, your ability to become socialized, right? That work is meaningless. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but here's the thing. I've been alone for most of my life, and that's because of my mental condition, right? And guess what, like, teachers did? They rewarded me for, like, doing all the hard work, getting all the extra credit, doing all of that, when I could have just, I could have goofed off, I could have made friends, I could have done all these things that would have done me better in life and work harder later, right? But no, you got to work hard, don't you know? Right? Now, I am an American, and we're under, like, No Child Left Behind and stuff, but, like, unironically, I wish I used my time in school to make friends rather than just get A's in every class. Because the A's in every class, well, guess what? They don't really matter. Your grades can be C. As long as you're not failing, that's all that matters. Right? And to tell you the truth, right? I regret being an A student immensely because of my condition, because I'm autistic, meaning that I have a harder time getting social cues. I have a harder time understanding other people. And to tell the truth, I needed to be socialized more than the average person. But the problem with that is that each time I avoided socialization by doing meaningless work, I was rewarded for that. Do you get what I mean? So rather than becoming a social person with, like, friends and relationships and things, all of that was taken away from me because, oh, you gotta get good grades. Oh, you're such a good hard worker. You're such a good hard worker. No, motherfucker, you shouldn't pursue that. Anyways. Whatever. Is that so, Hisao? This is bad. I've really ended up between a rock and a hard place. As much as it may pain me to do this, the truth has at least a chance of stopping this argument here and now. It's okay, Lilly. They didn't harass me to come or anything. Lilly gives me a disappointing grimace, silently radiating her strong feelings of displeasure in my general direction. She can be quite scary when she wants to be, though thankfully that isn't often. Hee-chan, you make that sound like a regular occurrence. Isn't it? It isn't. In the end, it doesn't matter so long as everything's been done at a good pace. Let's just get this work over with so we can go home. Shizune snorts derisively and gets back to marking off the sheet in front of her, while Lilly sighs and finds her way along the room with her hand following the filing cabinets lined along the wall. This would mark the only time I've managed to successfully defuse one of these situations, but with the grudging ceasefire built with a mutual fear and respect, this makes it more like makes us feel more like the Cold War than any real peace. I can't take all the credit though. Lilly's leaving has surely affected Shizune to some extent to make her give up so easily. Moments before getting back to my work, I noticed Lilly reaching up to grab something from above a filing cabinet. I almost offered to help, but her height gives her ample ability to take it down safely. When she sets the strangely shaped device on the desk beside me, I realize just what it is, sort of, as she takes the old green covering off and sits down. At first glance, it seems to be an old metallic blue typewriter, but it doesn't take me long to realize it's far from ordinary. It has far fewer keys than I expected, and those it has show no lettering printed on them, only the shadows cast by the tiny braille dots on them giving a hint to the thing's purpose. Blind typewriter? Oh, this? Well, you're not far off. It's normally called a Perkins Brailer, but it's basically a typewriter for the blind, yes. It presses braille into a page rather than text, which is why it has fewer keys. Huh. That's really neat. She gives a light-hearted grin at my curiosity over it. I have to admit that appeals to my sense of novelty. Without further ado, we each get back to our allotted task. The sound of clunking of the mechanics in Lilly's brailer and the typing of the laptop's old and weary keyboard quickly fill the room. It's a nice atmosphere, really. Everyone knows what they have to do, and Lilly and I get to sit beside each other and exchange the odd word as we work away. Nostalgic, that's what it feels like. It's pleasant, but slightly stained with the knowledge that our time together is nearing its end. Excuse me, Misha. To properly address her, Misha bounces over from the filing cabinet she's peering into, in spite of Lilly's lack of sight. For a moment, I think it's strange, but then realize it's exactly what I do. What's up? You could ask Shizune where the attendance records for Class 3-2 are. I think they've been moved. Okie dokie. And with that, she flitters off to Shizune, who's working at a table behind us. Lilly's familiarity with the council room and the efficiency with which she works remind me that she, Misha, and Shizune used to all work together in the student council. Maybe this is a befitting end for her stay in Yamaku, working away just like she used to, surrounded by those she loves, and at least liked. I look up, getting taken off guard by Shizune sorting through a drawer, rather than Misha. Sure enough, she plunks out the manila folder, entirely blank save for just the barely visible bumps on its front, and holds it in front of Lilly. Lilly's hand flits over it to check what it is, her fingers feeling out the dots of braille and confirming it's what she asked for. Thank you, Misha. No reply. No reply, that is, save for an odd grin. No smile on Shizune's face. A couple of seconds pass before Lilly clicks that it isn't Misha behind her, but Shizune. Her momentary look of surprise is replaced by a slightly bashful smile. For a few moments, the room is all but still and silent. Eventually, though, Shizune strides back to her workstation, and Lilly begins typing once again. It only lasted a handful of seconds in all, but it feels like years of communications were made up for in that one silent exchange. There, finished. I lean my head back and rub my eyes to try and work away their weariness. Staring at that small and rather poor screen has taken its toll. Excellent timing. The only thing left is to file these away, and I'll have my load finished as well. Good, I can pack up the brailer and put it away while you do that. Thank you, Hazao. Misha, are you and Shizune far from being done? Hold on. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well. Well, I look around for the two as I replace the cover over the brailer, only to see them waiting at the door. I guess they must be waiting for us. With a minimum of wasted time, we file and pack up everything that remains and join them. Thanks for waiting, you two. We couldn't just take off without you, Hee-chan. You've been a great help. Shizune nods approvingly, pleased with my efforts. I guess that's the last class representative work done and over with then. That's right. I'll miss you, Lilly. I think it was fun working with you. Thank you, Misha. It's been good working with you, and Shizune. Shizune thinks for a moment before formulating her response. It's not that she often communicates without thinking, quite the opposite, but this time it's even more considered than usual. Misha looks a little surprised before passing on the message. Shizune says you'd better do your work over there better than you did it here. Far from taking offense, Lilly giggles into her hand. If that's the case, then please tell Shizune to give those still here a little more understanding in the future. Competitive until the last. Maybe Shizune and Lilly aren't so different after all. Chi-chan says that she'll be checking to make sure you live up to your end of the promise. Then that's how it will be. I'd better be off then. Goodbye, Shizune, and goodbye, Misha. Hazao? Lilly takes a hold of my arm in hers, there being no need for a cane if I'm here to guide her. With a nod of farewell to the two, we set off out the door and make our way to the school grounds. As I turn to wave goodbye to them, I notice Shizune's gaze lingering on Lilly. They may annoy each other, but family bonds aren't easily broken. Got all your papers sorted then? Yes, they've all been filed out and handed in. On top of things as always, aren't you? She gives an earnest smile at the compliment, but feels as if her happiness is just a veneer over the fact that she's fully aware of how much she's leaving behind. It reminds me of how she was like when I first met her, always smiling, always that little bit aloof, always that little distance away from everybody. Even now, she still maintains that air around many others, especially those she's not close to. I had hoped our time together would have changed that fact. Our pace slows, the two of us coming to a halt in the all but empty school gardens. Hazao is something that... Lily's words are cut short as I turn and wrap my arms around her, pulling her tight. I may not usually be given to such impulsive actions, but I just want to be close to her, even if it's the last time I'll be able to do so. All the other students have retreated to their dormitories and homes, only the ruffling of leaves in the breeze making any sound whatsoever. As I draw back, I can see she has dropped her carefully maintained smile. Her hand hesitates, wanting neither to leave nor to stay on my features. She is putting up a brave show, but her slight trembling gives her away. Lilly may be able to control herself as well, but even she can't hold her composure together. This is the woman I've come to love, but also the one who in all too short a time will leave the country forever. I'm sorry, Hazao. It's okay. You've got your own life to lead after all. We walk up the hallway in the girls' dormitory hand in hand, our emotions by now largely quelled. Nevertheless, our hands grip each other's much more tightly than before. Faint, muffled voices can be heard from Lily's room, the origins of which aren't difficult to guess. The moment she opens the door, Hanako bursts through and wraps her arms around Lily, taking her very obviously by surprise. Lily, Lily! Hanako? I'm going to miss you, Lily. As expected, she's on the verge of tears. Lily gently rubs Hanako's hair with her hand in response, then pulls back and gives a warm, reassuring smile. Looking beyond Hanako, Akira can be seen getting up from the side of Lily's bed and scratching her head. Her eyes turn from Lily and Hanako to me, a stilted, weak smile hanging on her face. I try to return a more genuinely happy look, but the result is probably just the same. So everything set? Managed to hold back from killing Shizune? The comment draws an amused giggle from her sister. Yes, I have everything in order, and yes, I managed not to. Have you picked everything you need? I got 2 bags right here, but there's still some stuff left at the Hakamishi's home. I can pick that up while we wait here for tomorrow's evening flight, though. Akira gives the 2 large black traveling bags on the floor a hearty pat. She probably came to help pack and make sure everything was in order on Lily's end before going together with her. Lily, will you be okay over there? I'll be right. I'll be alright. I assure you. I'll have Akira looking after me as well, and you know that she's reliable. But... Don't worry, Hanako. I have your phone number after all, so we can stay in touch with Akira's help. I could send you things over the internet as well. Hey, don't use me just because you won't learn how to use a computer. Hanako and Lily both giggle briefly, the mood lightening ever so little. That goes to you too, though. Izao, I promise I'll contact you once I'm in Scotland. I know. I'll be looking forward to it. Her offer may be kind, but we both know that this is tantamount to breaking up. Neither of us has any illusions as to how well we'd manage a long-distance relationship. With nary a word of prompting, the 4 of us begin the long, solemn walk to the school gate. The numerous lamps scattered around the Yamaku grounds fail to do more than provide pinpoints of light in an otherwise dense darkness. A car parked on the road just outside the school grounds comes into view, its shining black exterior reflecting the dimly lit lamps of Yamaku. I call out to Akira in an effort to alleviate a bit of the heavy atmosphere. That your car? What kind is it? Don't know much about cars, do you? It's a Lancer Evo, solid and speedy. Well, it's not as if her comment on my knowledge is off the mark. I've never really taken an interest in them. She gives a small sigh. She's been good. Pity I have to part with it tomorrow. Just like the summer house. You guys were the last to visit it before it changed hands. Turning back from my rather faulty attempt at small talk, I glance at Hanako and Lily following behind us. By rights, Hanako should be leading Lily, but it's rather definitely the other way around as she clings tightly to Lily's arm. It's a depressing sight. So I guess this is it? Indeed. Although the time for everyone to say their farewells is now, nobody really wants to take the first step. It's as if the longer nobody speaks, the better the chances of them simply not leaving. Lily, do you really have to go? I'm sorry, Hanako. I won't be leaving you forever, though. I could still call you. Izao will be there as well. I nod, but Hanako just clutches all the tighter to Lily's arm. After spending so long without anyone to call family, it must be excruciating to have to say goodbye to the one person that was as close to a mother as anyone could have been in her life. Lily sets out a long, sad breath. All Akira and I can really do is stand by quietly on the sidelines, since the only person that can solve this would be Lily herself. Eventually, Lily pulls her arm from Hanako's grip and holds both of her shoulders gently, a much more decisive way of address than I've ever seen Lily take with her. Hanako, remember when we first met? When you entered my room for the first time after overhearing my consoling of a friend? You didn't say a single word for the entire night, even as I poured you tea and talked. You sat silently and simply listened to what I said. It took many quiet meetings like that before you began to open up to me, but as you began to, I felt some of the happiest moments I've ever felt. I didn't become your friend because I pitied you, Hanako. I became your friend because I knew you were hiding not just from me, but from everyone. Your ambitions, personality, interests, tastes, I didn't know any of them, and neither did anybody else. As you showed yourself to me, though, I began to realize the person that you were, and became sure that our meeting was a very special moment. But Lily cuts her words short as she brings her hand to Hanako's head and brushes her bangs to the side, gently pressing her lips to Hanako's forehead. As she pulls her head back, leaving Hanako all but speechless and her eyes moist, Lily beams a wide smile. I believe you are a very beautiful person, Hanako, and I am certain you will become a strong and confident woman. You are a very dear friend, and someone whom I love very much. Just like Azao, I will never forget you for as long as I live. I may be leaving, but you have your own life here to lead, just as I do. You have your own friends and hobbies, and your own hopes after graduation. I want you to devote yourself to them, even after I'm not around anymore. That's why I think you will be okay, because you are your own self, with your life. You yourself prove that to me. Hanako lowers her head in embarrassment, but nods as she does so. I understand. I know I have to say goodbye. I know you have to go your own way. But thank you, Lily, for everything. Thank you, Lily, for everything. Thank you, Hanako. Will you be okay? There are a few seconds of silence before the answer comes. I will. Lily smiles, undoubtedly, at least partly in relief. That makes me very happy then. Goodbye. Goodbye, Lily. And farewell to you as well, Hazao. Goodbye. I'll miss you. She pauses for a moment before walking up to me, her right hand outstretched in front of her, takes hold of my shoulder. Her left hand slowly and daintily reaches toward my face, and taking my cheek in her palm. For a while, she simply holds my face, her fingers just slightly moving to take it in its contours. Usually, her hand would be warm when doing such a thing, but the night's air giving her skin a cool edge. I'm not sure how long we stay like this, her clouded eyes pointed just below my own, as she wears a wistful, almost distant smile. Eventually, though, I take her cold hand in mine. It's difficult to do so, but with a slight sigh, I gently remove her hand from my cheek. I hope you have a long and happy life, Lily, no matter where you might go. Thank you. I'll make sure to. She takes a long, trembling breath before turning slightly towards Akira's direction. Akira? Okay. With a nod, she takes Lily's hand and begins to guide her to the car parked outside the gates. They both walk slowly and deliberately, as if their movements have been rehearsed in advance. It's strange to feel like this now, watching somebody leave Yamaku. The feeling of unease I have now reminds me of the first time I walked through those black wrought iron gates that always looked far too pompous for what they were. As they leave, all of us know full well that our lives are irreversibly changing. I'd always told myself I'd just have to take life as it comes, but everything's changing so fast, so suddenly. In the end, Lily's an irreplaceable part of the lives of both Hanako and me. The noise of Akira opening the passenger door for Lily brings me out of my thoughts, her hand waving back as Lily gets in. See you guys. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, Hanako. Goodbye, Azao. Hanako's hand quickly shoots up, her face brightened by her enthusiastic farewell. Goodbye, Lily. Goodbye. See you, Akira, and goodbye, Lily. The door shuts as we all but put our best happy farewell faces, Akira getting in the car herself and starting it up in short measure. Lily's hand could just be seen waving through the tinted windows, both of our hands waving high as well. Just as every other time I've done such things, I can't quite work out precisely why or Hanako waved to her, given that she's never seen us doing so, but it doesn't matter. Even after that black, shiny car goes down the hill and disappears into the dark night, we carry on waving and seeing Lily and Akira off. And then, they're gone. A strange stillness takes over as our hands return to our sides. I don't quite know what I should do or how I should feel. In the end, we just stand there silently staring down at where the car disappeared from sight. Goodbye, Lilly. All I can do in response to her quiet, mournful goodbye is place a hand on her shoulder. She looks at me for a few moments before looking back down the hill, secure in the knowledge that I'm still around for her. What we'll do from now on doesn't seem all that uncertain. We all have our own ambitions now, just as Lilly said. But even so, it feels like there's a certain missing part in both of our lives now. Something that can never be replaced. Well, at the very least, that is the last, yeah, farewell, reach Lily's neutral ending. Yep. Yep. That was a scene I wanted to see. So, yep. Basically, next episode, I'm going to be continuing until I reach the end of Lily's route, and whether or not it will be the last episode will be how much I have left of the game. So, anyways, it's been Dean the Autist. I have to leave now due to reasons. I was interrupted this episode, as you might have been told, but, yeah. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. See you next time I record this. Have a nice time. Thank you for watching.